Red.
There's something about Kerry and Killarney that's something different. It's different to Kerry and Croke Park, even different to Kerry in Park O'Keefe, and I think the fans love it. They love the day in Killarney. I know personally it would be my favourite pitch and a favourite day out. Maybe not since I'm involved, but from the days I was supporting Cork down to the years, it was a great day out for supporters.
On the injury front, Ger, there's been a lot of injuries during the league campaign. Obviously, most of those seem to have cleared up at the moment. How are things looking heading into Sunday?
Well, yeah, I think if we had a few more weeks, we'd be very, very good. I suppose the ones that have been worrying us for a while, Alan Quirk had his injuries, and Alan seems to be fine now. Anthony Lynch is still troubled with his injury. Graham is coming along nicely, and hopefully he'll be right. Then you have John Miskela. John is coming back okay. Nicholas Murphy will not be back. Kieran Sheehan is still injured, but he's recovering. And we have a few more carrying knocks and bruises, but that's part and parcel of it. When you carry a panel of 30, you have to be ready for that. And I think we've strengthened depth anyway.
I suppose it's testament to the strength of this Cork panel that there have been so many injuries in recent weeks, and especially to so many big players. I mean, if you went back 3 or 4 years ago and we were going into a Kerry game without the likes of, say, Anthony Lynch, Graham Canty, Nicholas Murphy, I mean, there'd be people saying no Venus, hoping that the lads would be ready, but the strength of the panel means that the players are there to come in and deputise.
Yeah, we'd be quite confident with our panel. I suppose that was one advantage in the league. We used up to 35, 36 players in the league, and a lot of the players you mentioned there already have been out during the league. The only player I suppose that we had during the league that is at peak of injury since is Nicholas Murphy. So we won the Division 1 league title without a lot of those guys, and we've huge confidence in the guys that are there, and when they put on the red jersey, especially against Kerry, they won't be found lacking.
What effect did the National League win have on the lads and on the panel and the setup as a whole? I mean, I know it's not the ultimate goal for the setup, but was it a confidence boost nevertheless?
Yeah, I think it was huge. I suppose Cork hadn't won a national title at senior level since the late 90s. So we won Division 2 last year, but we beat teams along the way. They weren't great, but when we were up in Division 1, we were playing the likes of Kerry, Tyrone, Derry, Monaghan, Dublin, Galway. They'll really test you out, and to come through and win that league and beat Mayo in the final, even though Mayo didn't play well in the final, it is tremendous for the players, and it's a huge confidence boost. And I think our players, the more high profile games they play and the more high profile games they win, especially playing the final in Croke Park, it's a huge boost. And I think that we're going in the right direction every year. It's a slow process, but I think we're getting there.
Now, it's your first championship game of the season, obviously next Sunday. Kerry have already been out in action. They've played Tipperary. It was a difficult game for them going up there to Thurles. It could have been a possible shock on the cards, because Kerry have obviously lost a lot of players from last year. But the way they dealt with that game, they performed very well. It was a very astute performance from Kerry. They didn't get a whole lot of credit for it, but they probably deserved to be given the plaudits for that performance. They played very well, and that'll give them a bit of confidence as well coming into next week.
Yeah, I think that the general feeling out there is that Kerry are well ahead this year than where they were this time last year, and I think they proved that against Tipperary. Tipperary were a Division 2 team, unlucky to be relegated, but had beaten and taken the scalps of high profile teams in Division 2. So I felt up there watching it on the stand that day that it could have been close, but Kerry went through it in a professional manner, and they scored 218, and 218 is a huge score in any championship game. When you mention about the players they're missing, I think that Kerry have strength in depth also. I think a neighbour of mine from Kerry was telling me the other day that they've used 30 players in championship football in the past 12 months. And when you look at and you see the likes of Paddy Greedy, Aidan O'Mahony, Anthony Maher, David Morden, Ger O'Sullivan, Kieran O'Leary, Barry John Keane, Barry John Welch can't even make the panel, Paul O'Connell can't even make the panel. Like, they have huge strength and depth, and they know they can. As I said, when I mentioned already that they used 30 players last year or in the past 12 months in championship, it just shows the experience they have.
And one thing about Cork and Kerry, it's always a very physical battle, as it was in the All-Ireland final last year. And I suppose one of the standout incidents was in the very first few seconds in Ty Kennelly, kind of a striking incident really on Nicholas Murphy. It went unpunished at the time. How important is it going to be for a strong referee to take hold of the game on Sunday?
Well, I think in any game, we'll have instances like that, and some referees get it right, they get the call right, and maybe if they watch it again on video after, they might say different. And that has happened in the league this year, where we've seen a referee changing his yellow cards to straight red cards, and I'm sure if Mr. Duffy up there in Sligo watched it again, maybe he might change it. But look, that's past tense. We get on with it. You can't hold those from one year to the next. You move on. If you go out and you're looking for revenge in games, you won't perform. You must go out and you must have a good performance and concentrate on performance rather than winning or losing or worrying about referees. I think Cork and Kerry traditionally have been a fine sporting game, and I think it will be a fine sporting game again next Sunday.
Yeah, and there is an extra bit of pressure on referees this year with the new hand pass rule. It's been the talking point of the championship really so far. What's your own take on it?
Well, I think that, it's a pity that they didn't bring it in for the league in the manner in which they're refereeing at the moment. It would have given players a chance to adapt to it. But I think that I think the message has gone out that the referees must use common sense, and I think if the player makes a fair effort for the underhand pass or a fist pass, I think the referee must allow the game to move on. The supporters don't want him pulling back the game, the players don't want him pulling back, and it takes from the spectacle. But I think that the first Sunday, I think when I watched it, there was a lot of incidents where players were pulled back. Even that game that I saw in Thurles between Kerry and Tape. But I think that they use common sense, and I think that it will be less of a factor going forward.
Do you think it's unreasonable to ask guys like on the Cork senior panel, especially to say the likes of Graham Canty or Nicholas Murphy or Anthony Lynch, guys who are into the 30s, into the latter years of their careers, to ask them all of a sudden to change the way they've been playing the game? It's a bit unreasonable, isn't it?
It is really. I think there wasn't much wrong with the game. I think it was a good spectacle. But I think that after a period of time, there'll be a bit of give and take by referees, and I think we'll return to, and it is a very, very good game. But I don't know, the likes of Nicholas and Canty and these guys and Anthony Lynch, if they have to adapt, they will adapt, and they're intelligent guys. But in the heat of the battle, and when you have only a split second to make up your mind to give a pass, you're flicky it, and if you're flicky it one way with the last 10-15 years, it's very difficult to change. But I think it will become less of a factor.
Have you taken any special measures to adapt to this new rule? Have you brought in any referees to speak to the players or anything like that? Well,
in all the challenge games we've played in the last number of weeks, prior to all the games, Conor got the referee to speak to the players and explain the rules and explain what they would take as a legitimate pass, and I think that has been useful. And even in our games in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, we've brought in Michael Collins to referee a few games, just again to have a professional guy there refereeing, making the calls, and I think players are adapting to it.
Just very finally, Ger, you've got a very good record against Kerry in the Munster Championship in recent years. It hasn't gone as well at Croke Park as we saw from the All-Ireland final last year. How important is it that the lads channel the hurt from that game and bring it into next Sunday and into this year as a whole?
Well, I wouldn't think that they should concentrate on last year. I think every year is different, every game is different. What we would be focusing on would be performance in any given day. Be as good as you can be, because if you take hurt into a game and you expect players to perform and use it as a motivating factor, then what happens the next time you play a team? Maybe the hurt is gone. So now what we concentrate is being as good as you can be in any particular day. Concentrate on performance rather than winning. If you perform to your ability and to your optimum, normally we will win.
Red.